Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage for the fourth season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Fixed Series. This evening, we're excited to bring you top split action for the weekly straight the field race for the virtual Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the top split for the Maconi C Fixed Series, Road to Pro, and Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince, alongside the booth for tonight's adventure. Braden Laster. Noah Rempel is working the controls as our producer tonight here on the road course. Braden, tonight we go left and right. A challenging road course on the docket. What do you have in mind for the racing tonight?
Yeah, left and right is the name of the game. Like you said, this 13-turn road course in the middle of nowhere, aka Ohio, is definitely going to be challenging for even some of Maconi C Fixed set up best drivers. And something that makes this track very interesting, though, is not only are we missing some of our series of regulars, but we're missing cautions tonight. No cautions no matter what. The entire field's going to wreck out, and we're going to keep her green.
So that's going to be something to keep an eye on throughout the 26 laps. We'll touch upon that a little bit more in detail in a bit. But these drivers currently in control of their own destiny, so to speak, for the first road course of the season. This is one of a couple, in fact. This likely may be some people's drop weeks here, Braden, but it's still a chance to have some fun and get a hold of this new package for the first time on a road course.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been to a road course. Looking back, March 20th, Season 2, Week 2, Circuit of the Americas, Parker White was victorious there. Parker White not in competition tonight to defend, because that was an absolute dominating performance there at COTA. That was a couple months ago. New package come out, so these drivers definitely have a handful. I know most of these drivers, it's their first time or only their second time running this race, is looking for a high S.O.F, because the high S.O.F races aren't very prevalent this season, or not this season, but this week it seems.
Yeah, right now tonight's S.O.F average a 16:39. That'll likely be one of your lowest, if not the lowest, on the calendar this season. But it's sure going to be interesting to see some of the new names and faces. Some people still in the rookie class in terms of their road licenses that are going to be put through their paces here today. Now, the schedule is going to be a busy time the rest of the season, though, after this week. Pocono and IRP are going to be ones to put circles next to the next couple weeks here. We'll touch upon a little bit more as time progresses here, Braden. But right now, the championship has taken some interesting turns so far. We've seen drivers this week in this season like Jalen Handcamp become the points leader for the series.
That's one thing that these road courses definitely throw a lot of uncertainty into. And then looking at the season standings, I mean, you got a lot of drivers up there. Keaton Jones and Malik Ray, that's no surprise. But Caleb Johnson, Dylan Basin on your top five there for points. And it changes week in and week out. So these road courses talked about having a drop week. I'm sure drivers are definitely be looking at this and Watkins Glen. But that means you have so much less room for error at a track like Daytona at the short tracks. If you're expecting to have these two road courses be part of drop weeks.
We do have Handcamp in the field tonight, by the way, so it seems like the road course is definitely their forte. We'll just say that much. But as the rest of these drivers complete the qualifying laps, one of the main things we're noticing, a lot of people on the struggle bus trying to keep it off the green stuff. A lot of drivers struggling in terms of the traction.
Yeah, asphalt is good, grass is bad, sand is no good whatsoever. There's a lot of sand traps there, riding on board here to see this driver going through. I believe it's turn 4 and 5 there around China Beach, Glen Irwin. And that's something we got to watch for, that sand trap. I mean, you can get stuck in there. If not stuck, you're going to burn a lot of time trying to get out of there. So you don't want to go in the sand and find the sand traps on this track.
Absolutely. Right now, Glen Irwin, one we're falling on board with, just trying to get a lap in. A lot of invalidated lap times from our qualifiers. And it looks like they're saying, yeah, they are just going to say, I'm out of time and may as well crash it.
Yeah, that's the one way to get some seat time, and I don't think this race is going good the way anyone wants. No fast repairs either. They have tire sets, but with no cautions, don't expect any pitting. And 26 laps, and looking about a minute and a half lap times. It's gonna be a quick race here, done probably by the top of the hour, JP.
We'll see if that ends up being the case or not, as the field has completed the qualifying session as a result of that slide to the grass. We'll see how they're lined up here tonight for your S.O.F coverage here on iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment. Jalen Handcamp, we talked about him. How about 6/10 up over the rest of the field tonight? Rocky Boyd III, one of the drivers from the eNASCAR for qualifying iRacing series. Then it's Christopher Brown, Jeremy Cook, your top four. In fifth is Aiden Reed. Alongside him is Daniel C. Gomez. Then it's Maconi, Mark Reed, Cole Pocken, and Thomas Lawn, who were your top 10 in qualifying.
Yeah, top 10 spread apart by over 10 seconds is the gap. And then Zachary McCollum, the last driver, take a time in 11th. It's 4 or 5 seconds behind Thomas Long. Then it's Glenn Irwin riding on board there with for the throw ride in 12th. Caleb Johnson at 13th. Kenneth Brown at 14th. Gavin Newton, a driver with railroad experience at this track, but not as a driver. He's a scheme designer in the Arkham Menard series and does a lot of the schemes and graphics over there for drivers in that platform. And does spotting. He spots for a lot of guys. I know he was here a couple weeks ago when the Arkham Menard series visited Mid-Ohio for their routine new visit. So Gavin knows his track like the back of his hand. He's spotted here for a couple years in a row now. And then Sam Niederhelm in 16th, Tyler Brown 17th, and then Shane Dinsdale in 8th.
That's hooked top to bottom at the running order here tonight from Mid-Ohio. And as the drivers get themselves ready, first things first, your keys to victory over the course of 26 laps of racing, with these times going to be just under 90 seconds a lap on average.
Well, with those no cautions we talked about a little bit ago, that is going to be key to keeping a green and clean race. I mean, if you have one spin, you lose 7-8 seconds lap, you don't get a chance to recover, that through the course of a caution. Typically, a caution kind of bounces and goes back together on one big pack. So it doesn't matter if you spin out on lap one, if there's a caution or two to go, you're right back down on the lead pack. That's not the case here tonight, so minimize mistakes.
Well, I was going to say who do you think's the one to beat, but it's pretty self-explanatory with the pole sitter. He is somebody that's run with the Affinity Racing Series, one of the major leagues for the roadside. Your pole sitter going to be very difficult to beat based on the times put up compared to everyone else.
Yeah, I think some drivers we saw didn't get a set time like Glenn Irwin there, so maybe they're hiding some magic in the hat, waiting to pull it out. But I mean, lap traffic, it's very hard to get around lap traffic at this course. There's not a whole lot of passing opportunities right here down the straightaway in between turn 2 and 4. Technically, they're going around the keyhole, that 180-degree hairpin after the start-finish line there. Then you have this 3,000-foot straightaway. This is one of your best passing opportunities. Heavy braking, so they're going to hit about 165, 175 miles an hour here, braking right about there, so where hand camp is, and then hopefully don't overshooting it into China Beach that we're talking about in qualifying.
Some technical blips for a couple of the drivers before they get going. Who else are you keeping an eye on, especially with at least one eNASCAR hopeful in the field?
So yeah, you got a lot of drivers coming out here hoping to have a good time and finish. And it's going to be fun to see who keeps it on track.
We'll see how it goes as the rest of the field keeps itself with the iRacing safety car, going with the Porsche pace car this week as they prepare for tonight. If you want to be a part of the racing, be sure to register for the races in your iRacing UI today. Every hour, 15 minutes past the hour, you can race in the Maconi Fixed Series on the iRacing platform to be able to have fun just like these drivers hope to do tonight. They work their way through the carousel as they get ready for the green flag. Jalen Handcamp in control. Green flag is out. We're underway for Mid-Ohio. And a couple of drivers tend to get the greatest of launch back there. Someone actually already spun it. Cole Pocken already around.
Yeah, that's not the way you want this race to go for you. Pocken started inside the top 10 there, and looks like he might have had a little bit of help. No, he just loses it on his own, so that's a tough start there for Cole Pocken. Already, though, making up time, passing Mark Reed.
Was about to say, easier spin so far. Others like Gomez already trying to go on a bit of attack on Christopher Brown. An interesting start to this one. Gomez looking to the inside of the 12, nothing doing towards China Beach.
Yeah, Christopher Brown there trying to hang on in the 12 machine, and so far doing a good job staying inside the top 5, but this battle for the lead starting to heat up. Handcamp hasn't pulled away over the course of the first 7-8 corners like I thought he would. Rocky Boyd III still right there behind him, and that's really good in these heavy braking zones. So I expect Handcamp to pull away a little bit here, but Rocky Boyd good on the first half of the track, Handcamp better on the second half.
So an interesting first lap already, just about complete here. Up front, Handcamp looking pretty solid to start, up by near a second over Rocky Boyd III. Boyd III getting pressure by Jeremy Cook as well in that battle for second a touch bit. 25 to go. And Rocky Boyd III coming off a strong race last time. We'll see who's not having a strong race this time. How about the 8, 6, and a couple others with some smoke?
I believe it's that highlight that Cole Pock crash Pock there. Spun out around and then on board with the 6th machine, I believe that was a Mark Reed that gets loose going around turn 2 there, or turn 1. Contact, I think, yeah, contact for the podium or top 5. Christopher Brown not too happy with Gomez, Daniel Gomez going in the hairpin. So Gomez with a deep sin on Christopher Brown, and some choice words for him. Brown in the 12, Gomez in that 1 truck right behind.
I believe they call this the bump and dump. Just missed the corner and just sent him.
Well, I've heard 8 tires are better than 4, but that's not how you want to pull that maneuver off. Riding on board with Gomez now, and Gomez is in that 4th spot after this move here.
There was the lock of a Brown, but he held his line. Not so much from Gomez. And so David Gomez using other trucks as guardrails here. Brown's recovered 10th at least. That's where we're currently seeing drivers like Kenneth Brown, Gavin Newton circulate more trouble. This is Thomas Long who's spun around. He ended up missing a lot of corners and nowhere to go for everyone else, it looks like.
It's going to be a long race here for Thomas Long. Trying to get going again. I believe it's the outside of turn 6 and 7 through the S's here. To the 18 truck, Thomas Long going through the S's, through the motions, through the curves, and just loses it. No help needed. Oh man, gets contact there from the 4 truck of Glenn Irwin.
Glenn Irwin, just no place to go with the slide. And as a result, contact abound. Meanwhile, Newton has lost a spot, should say. Christopher Brown making the send on him. Kenneth Brown trying to hold back in the midst of the battle of the Browns.
Yeah, some drivers trying to make up lost time. Christopher Brown saw that send there by Gomez, knock him back into, or knock Christopher Brown all the way back outside the top 10. Gets around Gavin Newton, now trying to get around Kenneth Brown that you're talking about there. Moving his way up through the field, but with no cautions. I mean, Christopher Brown's odd doing in this one definitely went downhill pretty drastically with that move by Gomez. He's doing a good job recovering though.
No place to poke yet through Thunder Alley. Coming up here. Now he's alongside him for it, in fact. Side by side as they approach turn 10. Christopher Brown let go. So he's able to get himself back to 8th after the spin around from the top 5. Speaking of spin arounds, remember the 4 truck? It looks like he's had a technical blip and a spin.
A lot of guys, I believe this is on a service side or server side, as a lot of drivers are glitching to the ground. So this is definitely making it interesting. I can tell you, Glenn Irwin though, 4 truck through the grass, taking a quick little mow, while drivers are starting to struggle with seeing each other on the track.
Okay, so as everyone looks to settle down, we'll take a quick step aside here as they sort it out here on the racetrack. 23 laps to go here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone. We apologize for the technical difficulties as we are currently working our way through the racing here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. For those tuning in the lead throughout all this, Joe and Handicap's grown the gap by 4 seconds. He's been picking up time by as much as near a second a lap the past couple as the tire wear has settled in. Rocky Boy the third, currently in second. Caleb Johnson currently is in the third spot. Aiden Reed and Jeff Maconi has driven up to the top 5. Of note for Johnson, he's got from 13th to 3rd in this race so far.
A lot of heavy movers. Shane Dinsdale, last driver on the lead lap, currently has a couple guys trying to get around him, and Jalen Handcamp about 1,500 feet or so behind him, half a straightaway. But Dinsdale last car lead up, like I mentioned, up 9. Tyler Brown up 8 or so. Gavin Newton up 7 or 8. Kenneth Brown up 8. So a lot of drivers have moved past 7, 8 guys here on a track where passing is very difficult to come across.
So right now we have to talk about how these drivers are playing things out here. It's been an interesting one on the fall off as well. Some drivers have been able to push the tempo. Others, the fall off so far has, for some drivers, reached near 6 seconds with this package.
Yeah, fall off definitely a name of the game. Maintain your stuff here. No pit stops. You can't rely on coming down and slapping some fresh rubber on. I mean, that might be a strategy. We think, hey, I'm going to lose, 25, 30 seconds on a pit stop. It's a very small pit road here. So some drivers might take that option. I don't expect it to see that option. Definitely Maconi and a couple other guys going around lap traffic. Daniel Gomez and Thomas Longworthy struggling here big time.
Yeah, road course racing takes a lot of talent, and it takes a lot of adaptability because it's not like the oval where you're learning 2 corners. And I know that sounds as generic as it may sound and a bit biased in some regards, but it's a very difficult skill to learn to be able to handle the road courses in terms of being able to handle multiple different braking zones, multiple different corner types, multiple different passing opportunities.
And this track itself is very difficult in its own regard. There's not many tracks like it. Has a 180-degree hairpin. I know a lot of tracks have a tight hairpin, but not a perfectly around 180 degrees like Mid-Ohio here does. And elevation changes huge, especially through the S's there. I mean, you're up, down, so you have a lot of blind corners you have to try and set up for, and hopefully you nail it right, and that takes a lot of seat time, versus an oval that can go out there and kind of be fast, not competitive, but it can be faster than a couple laps here. I mean, you saw in a qualifying, some guys 10, 15 seconds off the pace.
Yeah. So, right now, 8 drivers are on the lead lap in this race, by the way. Dinsdale has already been lapped. He actually got punted by the race leader, so did Thomas Long. So Handcamp is trying to go very quick around this racetrack and is pretty much making it clear, if you're a lap car, respect blue flags.
Well, I think he's rocking out in there, saying people to move and get out of the way with a couple wards in between that, tuning in there, but Handcamp definitely the driver to beat. I don't think anyone's going to have anything for him as we're nearing the halfway point. Still a couple miles to go around this 2.2 mile configuration. This track, though, a couple different configurations. It has a 15 corner course that involves a chicane actually in between turn 1 and 2. They're right before the 180-degree hairpin. I know they'd use that a lot for motorcycles, go-karts, stuff like that. And then in the 180-degree hairpin there, they also have a half-mile oval or a kidney bean format using the chicane on one of the straightaways. So if you want to race an oval, you can here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, it's an interesting racetrack, especially with what we've seen most recently with the Arkham Nard series in particular here. It's the type of racetrack that is almost a calming effect, almost to me.
Yeah, it's a very unique atmosphere. It's very calming, and I've been here in person quite a bit myself. I spotted here last year for an ARCA car, and beautiful scenery, great atmosphere. And I mean, this track, it doesn't look like that. It's called the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You wouldn't think that this track, hosts IndyCar races and IndyNext and NASCAR races. And NASCAR, has been coming here for years. We got one driver going off the rails. I believe it was Aiden Reed going off the track through the grass. And NASCAR recovery there, I believe, around China Beach.
Also going around. How about the 13 way into the beach?
Gavin Newton, what happened? That's not gonna work out all for Mr. Newton there.
Yeah, the Runnings Racing Designs machine. Big slide there, but Aiden Reed, at least, from his mistake, he's under attack by Jeff Maconi. Currently, Maconi running the 1:31.3s, last time by 3 seconds, lost by Reed from the mistake.
Actually, one of the quicker drivers on the track. Not many guys are in that the low 130 bracket, so definitely a good job maintaining his tires and keeping the truck under him, trying to get around Aiden Reed for that 4th spot like we talked about there. And right in front of them, though, that is all lap traffic. Caleb Johnson, though, ready to lose. Your 3rd place driver, heavy braking, about lost it going into turn 4 there. So Johnson about had a crucial mistake that definitely would have cost him on that podium spot.
Yeah, so now they'll have lap traffic to deal with here too. And with the lap traffic, we've already touched upon some people not afraid to move with the bumpers so far, the lap traffic. What's kind of going into the mindset, if you're a lapped car and you're in the midst of battles, what's the best way to get the job done? We're right now seeing the wrong way. How about park it in the racing line?
As I say, it's very difficult to get around lap traffic here because there's no good place to really pull over and let them go. To pull over to the right in one corner, there's so many back and forth corners here. It's not like Lion Rock, I believe, where it's a lot of right-hand turns with occasional left-hand turn. It's, you know, a right turn, left turn, right turn, right turn, left turn, left turn, right turn, left turn, right turn. There's not a whole lot of areas you can really pull over and be out of the way or hide, as we like to say. So that definitely wasn't the way to hide and get out of the way, as Aiden Reed had to make some evasive maneuvers. But just be courteous and hold your line. So you have 2 really big straightaways here. You got in between turn 1 and 2 about 1,600 feet if you want, and then going to the 180 degree here, corner of 2 and 3. You have about 3,000 foot straightaway there to pull over if you need to. So some areas to hide, but not many.
What happened to the 16? Dinsdale, in slow speed, manages to get loose.
I appreciate that effort. That was a hard-earned spin right there. I mean, that takes talent.
It's just showcasing with this build. It was difficult to race on the road courses before. It's just as difficult. Jeff Maconi trying to make a difficult pass to the outside. Aiden Reed trying to give the pinch along as they work their way through the S's here. Maconi a slight bit faster right now and making contact as Reed got loose.
Maconi able to pull a crossover move on Reed, get the inside and preferred line there through the S's. Coming up to the carousel now, able to pull away, not be side by side. Reed starting to fall back a little bit now. So swap 4th and 5th, Aiden Reed the 5th, Maconi the 4th. And they're kind of their own little road here. Kenneth Brown about 15 seconds back, and then Caleb Johnson about 10 seconds in front of them. So, I mean, they're kind of just in their own little, you know, convenient scoreline.
About 12 laps to work with now in the race already. With how things have played out, you mentioned expecting things to go pretty quick. Well, should go fairly quick in terms of the race distance by the time things are complete here. Handicap's been in control. Touch upon Rocky Boy the 3rd. I want to touch upon him because he had such a good race in that eNASCAR World Pro qualified eNASCAR qualified iRacing series race, the better way to phrase it, in round number 2. Started off Chicagoland with the top run in the 2 truck.
I was very excited, I know, to get that podium spot there, and actually had a shot at the win, and going into the final couple races. I know he's a driver we have to watch out for, and I know he's really excited for IRP Pocono coming up there in a couple weeks. So Rocky Boy the 3rd driver. We've seen quite a bit both in the Maconi C Fixed competition and over on the road to pro scene. So he's a younger driver who worked his way up through the sim racing ranks and trying to make a name for himself, and doing a good job though here tonight.
Yeah, funny thing is, for the longest time, many people, including myself, grouped them in the short track bucket, started developing those skills we've seen in the past few years in the stock cars. As time has passed, style back, some of that aggression has really started to perform well in those trucks.
Speaking of aggression, Kenneth Brown around in 6. Going through turn 6 and 7 through the S's there. He caught some slower lap traffic. I'm talking about how difficult it is. He caught up to Shane Dinsdale. Dinsdale just locked up the brakes, and Kenneth Brown had no choice but to lock him up even harder. And around he went, that's Dinsdale in the red truck in front of him, really slow off the pace, and Brown just nowhere to really go as Dinsdale, I think, might be having no. So Dinsdale able to keep it going, but Brown definitely needs a change of underwear. That's allowed Gavin Newton to get pretty close to him as well.
That was Mark Reed on the second replay, by the way, with lap traffic. Also, some issues with the purple and teal truck. It's been a roller coaster for McCollin. He's now called it for this race. As a result, he was staying in fourth gear for much of this race to prevent spins. So
Well, that's one way to do it.
it's not optimal. It's a way.
I mean, if you want to finish and just finish, that's definitely the best strategy there. So, I gotta give him effort for an A for creativity.
10 laps to work with here, and Maconi has actually been able to run away from Reed. Seems like he's just about secured a fourth place run here with how things have looked so far. It's going to require a lot of luck to get up to Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson sitting there kind of in his own little world as well. I got Jeremy Cook right behind him, although Cook 5 laps down, Gomez and Niederholm. So kind of got a little pack here, all in lap traffic though, besides Johnson, Maconi, and Aiden Reed. Next cars for a position, next truck for position, about 10 seconds back.
So a lot of strategic movement, but also a lot of traffic navigation. Some drivers that had to peel down to the pit lane, trying to make their way through here too. That's going to add a little bit of a wrinkle to this too. Jeremy Cook, 5 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, those tires you talked about, some drivers already seen 6 seconds of fall off. So Cook, a driver who had an incident earlier in the race, able to go down pit road for the fun of it, and now I feel like he's the fastest man on track, arguably because he is.
Yeah, the fall off for the drivers we touched upon being pretty high. It's been skyrocketing as this run's now progressed upwards now for some into the 6-second bracket. Sam Niederholm, his 14 truck having a little bit of issues on the slippy slide.
Yeah, Niederholm 2 laps down already, so not the way you want this race to be going for you.
Also, Aiden Reed's lost some ground. Let's see why.
Well, I know why. We've seen him around multiple times already. Has a nice little drift there through the S's and not able to see the finish of it.
Handcamp, meanwhile, remind me again, last time we were at Coda, he showed some good speed too, or in the previous road course at least. We've seen him come out into these road course races and do well.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Handcamp, at least in a broadcasted race. Last time at that Coda race he was not present, but we've definitely seen a lot of speed from him in those road course sessions from time to time. So with 2 road course seasons this season, or 2 road course races this season, definitely gonna be pretty fun to see who masters the right-hand turns. And Watkins Glen is more of a NASCAR track. A lot of drivers with the stock car experience have a lot more laps to do at Watkins than they do at Mid-Ohio.
Handcamp still up by near 6 seconds. And it's important for some of the drivers who are in the NASCAR ladder in particular to learn the road courses, because at the very least, you need to be able to conquer that at the top level. We've seen that in NASCAR Coke action last night, actually, where 4 different drivers raced on the pier in Chicago while racing the virtual Chicago.
I mean, that's one way to go there and get some seat time. So I know a lot of drivers like to use iRacing as a practice platform. Niederholm, speaking of getting practice, is getting some parking practice. Went way wide, about stopped that Jeff Maconi on by as Aiden Reed continues to struggle here in the second half of this race. He was running that podium spot there for a little bit, at least 4th, and after getting passed by Maconi, he's fallen all the way back. Still in 5th, but about 10 seconds behind Jeff Maconi now.
And right now, for the most part, these deltas seem to have solidified themselves for the position battles. there is at least one interesting one to keep an eye on the Delta, as if Gomez can get himself up to somebody. Better yet, if Brown can get himself to somebody. Tyler Brown has quietly did well in the top 8.
Now, one of our biggest movers of the night, up 9 spots inside the top 10 now. Tyler Brown is from 17th to 8th, and he's trying to get up there to 7th. It's going to be a tall task, considering Gavin Newton in 7th is about 35 or 40 seconds in front of him. So, honestly, mistake. I think this race is Newton about actually make one going through the loop there. Tyler Brown, still a great run though, regardless.
Yes, brilliant racing we've seen for parts of tonight, with 7 laps to work with. It's important, again, to touch upon the talking point for the qualifying series. I think that's an important one, because a lot of drivers have had to utilize the series to be able to learn the package so far we've touched upon, but also touched upon the road course need. Watkins Glen is going to be on the RTP schedule, mind you, in August.
Well, yeah, I think it's one thing, or one schedule aspect that drivers like is all the C Fixed where that coincide with the Road to Pro. I think a lot more thankful that this race is on the Road to Pro ladder, but Watkins Glen, IRP poking the LR. Tyler Brown off the track though, so it's a great run. Not going as great as it was, but we've seen a lot of the Road to Pro guys kind of coming down here having fun and getting seat time, considering both series use the truck here, the C Class truck. So great seat time. Like I said, I'm sure many of them are thankful that Mid Ohio is not on that schedule.
A lot more drivers are tiptoeing their way around the course, noticing as the tires reach the very tail end of the leg span needed to reach to get to the end of this one. And Thomas Long not making friends. He just got moved out of the way by 2nd place.
That Long already 2 laps down. Rocky Boyd quickly on the radio, but yeah, that's not how you want to make friends. I mean, there's one thing about getting around the guy, but I mean, Boyd is that much quicker than Long. I don't think Long expected it. Boyd quick to apologize. Like I said, that one's on me. Just didn't expect the speed difference. I mean, there was indeed a speed difference there.
Especially at that part of the racetrack. That is very much a high-speed section. And we've seen at least Rocky Boyd III avoid damage to the front nose. And Long's around.
A tough lap and a half here for Thomas Long. Already 2 laps down. The final 5 laps might be pushing that 3 lap down marker. One of the lower drivers in the running order currently still running, and I've made a joke about 4 times already, and we'll make it again. This has been a long race for Thomas Long.
Keep an eye on Maconi once again. He's, well, more slides in terms of in front. He's closed up a bit, in fact, because Caleb's lost the rear, same as Jeff.
Guys, definitely starting to have that rear tire's grip or lack thereof. It's starting to really fade away. It makes it quicker in the corners. They're able to get through the corners a lot quicker. It's because they're drifting through them. It's getting that power down is where it's really going to start to hurt you. Maconi's been in the 130 range almost the entire race. Actually one of the quickest drivers on track last time by. But rear grip definitely starting to play a big picture here.
Yeah, Johnson's lost what was a 9-second buffer at one point. It's down to less than 5. Point where, as Thomas Long comes in due to all the damage accumulation, Maconi could possibly make it interesting. He needs to get a second a lap to get there.
And it's definitely running out of time to do it, and definitely doesn't have the speed last time by. He's a little bit quicker than Handcamp, but Boyd has a lot of lap traffic to get through. Handcamp does not. So I think Boyd's efforts are going to be futile, and that's a mistake presents itself with Jalen Handcamp.
Yeah, we'll see if the time holds up with less than 5 laps to go in this race. Those tuning in, it has been an interesting one for the S.O.F race night here for the Maconi Fixed Series on iRacing social media platforms. Handcamp has dominated the race by upwards of now 6.5 seconds over Rocky Boyd III. Right now, Johnson 30 seconds back in the leader, is losing at least a tenth or two per quarter to what Maconi's been putting up on the board, as Johnson treats this more like a dirt track through the S's and for Thunder Alley than he has more than a pavement track.
Well, if it works out, it works out, and that might just be the way you have to tackle it. Maconi might be able to reel in Johnson there on the final straightaway together, final couple of laps, coming to 3 to go or so here. But I think Maconi might be able, just maybe, able to reel in Caleb Johnson.
Last time by, he only reeled in 3/10 though. Johnson really struggling in the 1:31.3s this time. Maconi's time, another second reeled on in.
That definitely gonna be a lap or so shy of getting there, but we've seen Jeff make some crazy sins on a final lap before. Road course is no different. Johnson going wide through the loophole here. Maconi definitely a nice tight drive off line there, able to put the power down a little bit better than Johnson. He's trying everything he can to catch up to the 10 machine, and Jeffrey Maconi might be able to do it.
We'll have to keep an eye on this if it's going to be there by the end, though. Right now, the only times Johnson's not drifting through the corners is when he tiptoes his way through. That's where he's lost a lot of time. Maconi a lot more careful on the rears. Johnson nearly spins it again.
Yeah, Johnson definitely been more aggressive this whole race on the rears. And I mean, he's quicker through certain parts of the track because of it, but overall he loses a ton of time, especially on the exits to these longer straightaways. And that's where he's losing a ton of time to Jeff, and Maconi able to really reel him in that way.
Less than 3 laps to go to work on the gap. It's down to about 2 seconds now, just about. Now, how does Maconi make the pass here? Because obviously this could become a very unpredictable truck with Johnson's way of driving here. Also, we've had an issue with the 7 again.
Yeah, it's something Aiden Reed needs to maybe try and pick up before the next race. That looks almost identical to an earlier incident, but Reed still getting a top 5 finish off, is able to keep it straight. Another driver off the track, that's Thomas Long and into the wall. He's going ahead and parked it for this race. Front nose and all missing on the 18 truck. Smoke from at the rear end. So back to this battle for third. Caleb Johnson, third. You see Maconi really start to enter the picture there. Final couple laps or so, Jeff needs to find something, a little something extra, little extra spicy. You know, put some salt and pepper on it, really seal the wound.
I don't think people use salt and pepper for wounds.
If they do, I would hope you're not a doctor.
Well, it's about to be near surgical precision needed to make this pass. They are reaching lap traffic, by the way. That could become a factor on the Delta. They are in range of Shane Dinsdale. As a big slide again. Now it's under 1.5 seconds. And now some taunting on the radio, coming to 2 laps to go.
And Jeff trying to do everything he can, play the mental game, the physical game, and the tire game here to get this final podium spot. Jeff is going to make a mistake of his own mental mistake. He gets loose through the carousel, loses a ton of time. Oh no, Jeffrey Maconi, what have you done?
Wow. He might have just about thrown it away. Johnson nearly throws himself away with his line. Now it's down to, again, under 3 seconds, but with 2 laps to go, Johnson just needs to keep it on the track to hold on to a podium.
Keeping it on the track is going to be the hard part for sure. That lap traffic, Shane Dinsdale pulls over to the right side. I mentioned it's one of the better places to pull over and let faster cars go, and that's exactly what Dinsdale is going to do. So hops right in line. Now Jeff Maconi has to get around him.
Connie's saying he's good on the radio. Can Caleb Johnson keep it good? All of this is wow, a hand cam. He's put on a dominating run. He's coming to the white flag in range of lapping Newton, in fact, for that final lap.
If I know Gavin Newton here, he is not going down without a fight. It might be the last lap. So you're going to pull over to the side here and let him go, or he's going to fight to not be a lap down at all. And I don't think he can put much of a fight, actually. I lied. Gavin Newton, water wimp.
Yeah, nice and easy. Hand cam makes the pass. put on a dominating show. That interesting battle for third. It's still 2 seconds. They still have a full course to go, and Maconi is still closing about a tenth a corner.
Yeah, he's definitely running out of time. That mistake through the carousel last time by definitely didn't help him, but he needs Johnson to make one slip up, one inky tiny mistake, and Johnson not really carrying a whole lot of speed, definitely struggling with that grip all around through the grass a little bit. Dipped to the right side then, and well, if this was the Coke series, that'd be a protest.
A little bit shade, but Handcamp going a little bit easy around the course because he's trying to keep himself through the closing shade of the clouds above and getting ready to go to the shade that is sheltered around the victory lane. Handcamp putting on a dominating performance tonight. Near 8 seconds the deficit between him and Rocky Boy III, but it's Jalen Handcamp who comes out of the final corner to the carousel. He'll take the win and pick up the dub at Mid-Ohio. No, he spins it!
Not. Oh my
Handcamp
gosh!
spins it right on the final lap, out the final corner. Here comes Rocky Boy III. Handcamp
It's a
backwards.
dragon in reverse! Oh!
Handcamp wins it backwards.
1/10 of a second. I can't believe that just happened here live on iRacing social media. The battle for third, though, still continues. Caleb Johnson out through the carousel, Jeffrey Maconi right behind him, but Jaden Handcamp about makes the biggest mistake of his career.
Unbelievable. Johnson does hold on as Maconi had an error issue on the final lap, it looks like. But Handcamp in the final corner. All he has to do, exit clean, and he spins it.
Number 5 truck here led every single lap, started on the pole, going through the final corner, tries to celebrate a little too eagerly. Goes through the grass, gets in reverse, back it up, Terry, and starts sending that to Gavin Newton, getting his lead lap back. I told you he would. Here comes Rocky boarding the 2 at the line. That's the difference. 1/10 of a second.
You talk about trying to drift and win, having to go backwards to win the race.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
man. Jaden
Unbelievable.
Camp is sweating bullets right now.
Let's take a step aside. When we come back, the post-race results and coverage. You're watching iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio after a wild finish in what was a dominating race. Handcamp led by nearly 7 seconds. Then in the final corner, coming to the carousel, trying to get the drift on the way to the line. Instead, he spins it, and just by a tenth wins backwards over Rocky Boy III. A stunning finish. And showing why, it's never over until it's over.
You've heard of spin and win, but that was I don't think not necessarily a spin and win at all. That was almost the biggest embarrassment of Hand Camp's life there.
1/10 the difference. Caleb Johnson did hold on by about 2 seconds over Jeff Maconi. Then rounding out the top 5, Kenneth Brown recovering to there after getting moved off the track at one point. Aiden Reed, Gavin Newton, Tyler Brown, David Gomez, and Shane Disdale, your top 10.
Yeah, then Sam Niederholm, we saw him quite a bit there in 11th. Mark Reed as well had his own adventures tonight. I don't know if there's a relation with him and Aiden Reed, but one definitely got bragging rights from that one. Jeremy Cook there in 13th. Thomas Long race for him in 14th. Zachary McCollin in 15th. Christopher Brown there in 16th. Cole Pock in 17th. And Glenn Irwin from a crazy incident qualifying to crazy incidents on the track. He's going to finish out the field in 18th.
That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight, as we already have your top 3 standing by. A lot to ask with things involving your leader. He's standing on by. Jalen, what happened?
Well, I was gonna try to do like a little drift out of the final corner. It didn't work though. I spun and then I panicked, and I just figured putting in reverse and praying would be the right way to go. That's what I did.
Yeah, dominating pace before that point, though, here. How would you describe the comfortability with the new package for the truck, with the adjustments to the side force?
I really like it. I think it's great. Like the trucks, I think it's a lot better racing, a lot cleaner now. Um, I think road courses, I haven't noticed a huge difference in like how it handles over the longer run or even the short run, but they're fun.
Well, glad you had fun here tonight. Will we see you again when we go road course racing at the Glen then?
Definitely. I'm looking forward to that one. I like Watkins Glen a lot more than Mid Ohio.
Well, an exciting one for you tonight. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Handcamp who wins it backwards over Rocky Boy the third. He's with Braden.
Rocky Boyd, 1/10 from quite possibly one of the greatest wins of our iRacing career. How excited or how devastated were you coming out of turn 13 for the final time to see Jaden Handcamp driving backwards?
So, to be 100% honest with you, I didn't know it was him. I thought it was a lap car that had wrecked or something. But then when I came across the line, he said something on the radio, and it made me realize that it was him. So I looked to see how close it was, and it was like a little bit over a 10. And it was really funny. I don't know what happened to him, but I didn't know that me messing up throughout 26 laps and losing multiple tenths throughout the race was going to be what costed me the win. But it was an interesting way to lose for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned you didn't know what happened. To tell you, as he just told us, he was trying to do a little drift celebration coming off the final corner, and I gassed her up a little too hard, and around he went. So, other than that, 26 laps around Mid Ohio, very difficult road course, not a road course that a lot of drivers have experience. And you yourself, we don't look at you as a road course guy. So, coming in and running podium or getting on the podium, how's that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I've been running a bunch this week because we go to Watkins Glen in round 2, so I've just been trying to get familiar with the whole road racing in the truck and just learning the how to shift and like throttle control and all that. So it's just been helping me get better for Road to Pro, and it was nice. It was a confidence booster to run as close as I did because he really put it on me earlier this week. So I was closer, and it helps to see improvements throughout the week for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of those improvements and whatnot, anybody want to thank en route to getting those improvements and getting these runs?
Yeah, I've just had a bunch of my teammates just helping me out. I've got a lot of road ringers who are on my team, so they've just been coaching me up, just helping me out, and so it's just been a whole team effort at JRS.
Yep, of course. Well, thank you for running with us here in the Maconi C Fixed Series and taking your time to talk to us. I'm sure we'll see you quite a bit.
Thank you. You all have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Rocky Boy the third coming away second. Caleb Johnson also standing alongside. Caleb, you had some excitement trying to hold on with the rear tires. What was the truck feeling like towards the end? I believe Caleb is still muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. The truck was it was loose. I can't lie to you. It was really loose. I burned the rears off pretty early, trying to get up to the front. I mean, I started 13th, so I knew I had to get up to the top 5 or the top like 7 or 8 as fast as I possibly could. And yeah, in doing that, I kind of just messed up my own race by spinning the tires too much. But it was still a solid finish, 3rd. I mean, I've never really considered myself a road course guy. I was actually considering skipping this week, but I'm glad I ran it, and yeah, it was a solid finish.
Were you feeling the pressure as well with Jeff Maconi closing at 1 point a second a lap on you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've raced Jeff for as long as I can remember, so I knew he was gonna, if he got to me, he would throw it in there, but I also knew he wasn't gonna take me out. So I respect him a lot for that. But it was definitely nerve wracking coming up on the last couple laps, especially with him closing in that fast.
Well, on that note, Caleb, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on the podium.
Yep, thank you guys.
Caleb Johnson coming away with the top 3 run here tonight. Well, Braden, your thoughts on that one?
I mean, we didn't really think it could get that exciting after we saw Handcamp's dominating performance, and all comes down to literally the last 100 feet there in a drag race in reverse.
And remember, the next time out for these drivers, they go from the luxury of road course racing in Mid-Ohio to the speed of Pocono. And that should be an interesting time. That's going to be a one to put a star next to since it's RTP week.
Yeah, Pocono definitely one of the bigger tracks we go to. A little bit of a draft track. And then speaking of draft, after IRP, Daytona, the only super speedway on the schedule. So that's going to be a great one here for the Maconi C Fixed Series.
It should be a fun time once again. We'll see you next week around this time on July the 10th at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time here on iRacing social media platforms. But until then, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks to sponsor once again, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as to our viewers for tuning in. Coming the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Braden Laster. Nolan Rempel was our producer. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's action, and we hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.